Hello, thanks for checking out my channel and thanks for being with me through this struggle and this beautiful journey of life. Today I'm on almost to the end of reading my renderings of the third Chinese Patriarch of Zen. The first Zen writing ever recorded, really, or at least it's thought to be, or the first substantial Zen writing ever recorded. Very small booklet, and we're on part 6 of 7, so we're almost through with this booklet. And before we get started, there'll be a link in the description where you can order this book if you want to. It's a very short booklet. I think I got it for like $3 or $4. One of the best investments I ever made. Also, if you want to donate to support my work, check out my Patreon account in the description. You can look at my website, becomingnobody.org, and or hit the little notification bell if you want to be notified when videos come out. So we're going to start with the reading through the verse, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. It says, "If the eye never sleeps, all dreams will naturally cease. If the mind makes no discriminations, the 10,000 things are as they are, of single essence. To realize the mystery of this oneness is to be released from all entanglements. When all things are seen without differentiation, the one self-essence is everywhere revealed. No comparisons or analogies are possible in this causeless, relationless state of just this one. When movement stops, there is no movement, and when no movement, no stopping. When such dualities cease to exist, oneness itself cannot exist. To this ultimate state, no law or description applies. For the realized mind at one with the way, all self-centered striving ceases. Doubts and irresolutions vanish, and the truth is confirmed in you. With a single stroke, you are freed from bondage. Nothing clings to you, and you hold to nothing. If the eye never sleeps, all dreams will naturally cease. If the mind makes no discriminations, 10,000 things are as they are, of single essence." So it's saying, if your eyes never closed, you wouldn't dream, right? If your eyes never slept, you couldn't have dreams. Well, if the mind makes no discrimination, if my mind makes no discrimination between this object and that object, between the TV and the book, between the good person and the bad person, between the man and the woman, between the sun and the moon, if it makes no discriminations, if it's not so caught in dividing, then the 10,000 things, which means the world, they are as they are, of single essence. It's only one happening. And so it's often talked about in spiritual literature, oneness, that we are all one. And it's easy. What does that mean? What does that really mean? It's easy to mean we're in this together, we're humanity. But no, what they're saying in this text is that in reality, we are actually one being. We're one organism. There is only one life force that moves everything, but it pretends through the separate egos. So I think that my dad, and he does his thing, and I'm me, and I do my thing, and my dogs do their thing. Really, there's one energy that's behind it all, that's moving the entire play. And that's why it says, if the mind makes no discrimination, we begin to see things as they are. So to realize the mystery of this oneness is to be released from all entanglements. Because you realize it's all one big happening. It's all the self-essence is everywhere revealed, as it continues to say, when all things are seen without differentiation. That's why I focus so much on the mind, because it all comes back to mind. When I stop seeing, when I can see the trees and the flowers outside and everything going around, if I could perceive that in its reality, I would see that it's only one thing. But in everyday life, we can't, because we're covered by this veil of illusion. So this is why people do spiritual practices, to be able to see through this. So even though this text is so true and so simple and straightforward, it's really pretty far along. I mean, that's pretty much the deepest essence of where you can get in spiritual practice. I mean, it really is. It says, In this state where the one self-essence is everywhere revealed, where we realize we're all one, no comparisons or analogies are possible in this causeless, relationless state. Because even if you get into the laws of karma and the interrelatedness and inner being of things, that shows that we're all interrelated. If I'm thinking positive right now and have pervading positive energy, that's affecting the universe in reality, and even more so things closer to me, but it's affecting everything. Same thing with negative energy. There's a karmic ties relating all of us. Every action I do, if I throw something at the wall, that might affect the outcome of some event a year from now. I mean, everything's tied in, interrelated. But what this is talking about is beyond interrelation, beyond cause and effect, which is relatively real, but this is talking about past that, where it's all one happening anyway. And it's saying to this state is so hard to comprehend, there's no comparisons or analogies are possible, because they don't tell us the truth of how it really is. Nothing that our thinking analytical mind can think about it is going to be how it actually is. That's what we're trying to get at here. So when dualities cease to exist, it says oneness itself cannot exist because it's indescribable. To this ultimate state, no law or description applies. So what really a big takeaway from this can be is that we don't have to rely so much, because we always want to categorize things. And there's an example of somebody I had met, a coworker once, and anything I would say I would say something about spirituality, he'd say, "Oh, you're into that new age stuff." Or I would talk about scientific quantum physics borderline experiments and things that had been found out in nature, but that were more leaning towards the spiritual angle. I mean, they were definitely true, but not accepted yet by mainstream science. And even some more like Planck's cognizance. But he would always try and categorize it into something that he knew and could say, oh, he's just talking about New Age spirituality. He's just talking about pseudoscience. And so then your mind categorizes it there, and it can leave it there because then it's comfortable and it doesn't have to look at or even accept or open up to these possibilities. So what we kind of want to do here is your mind's going to categorize shit. It's going to categorize things. It's going to put them in whatever boxes. But you don't have to have so strong of attachment to it. Realize that the ultimate truth, if we could sit here silently and quietly right now, there's no word to describe this reality around me. It just is. There's no saying that I can say that really adequate, and that's why that's why there's so much fighting over religions and spiritual beliefs, because these holy beings have these far out experiences and they come back and put them into words, and then these whole churches or religions or whatever get built up around it, and the different practices, they talk about it differently. And so they try and explain it differently, and because it's words, and the words come out of their cultures and their ideas at the time and their prior beliefs and religious systems, and people get confused. And I would do that too. I'd be like so confused about, in Hinduism they talk about the self, and in Christianity there's the soul, and Judaism and Islam, but then in Buddhism they say Anatman, that there's no self, no you. And I would get so confused about these topics until I realized they were just concepts. They were all pointing to the same thing. They were just ways of explaining it at different levels and to different tendencies of beings. So, and then it says, for the realized mind, for the awakened mind that's at one with the way, all self-centered striving ceases. You cease being a self-centered scumbag. Doubts and irresolutions vanish, and the truth is confirmed in you. So you start to have less and less doubts, and ultimately doubts and irresolutions vanish. With a single stroke, you're freed from bondage. Nothing clings to you, and you hold to nothing. So no events that happen, nothing that come into your life, they cling to you less and less. You don't get as caught in them. You hold to nothing. You float. it's not like you're separate and life's flowing all around you. You are a part of life. You are the flow. You're as much it as a river is it, or as a tree is it, or as a man-made thing is it, like a house or a book. You're it. So you're a part of it. And not clinging means you move as it moves. Your awareness doesn't get stuck in wanting it not to change. And that pertains even to the end of life, even to death, even towards the ending of my ego's existence in this life. It's just another movement and transformation of energy. And yeah, sure, it'll probably be a scary one. I mean, it takes a pretty far along being to not give a damn about death. Although a lot of people do come to acceptance and awakening to truth at the end. And if I was going to start dying right now, I would be scared, I'm sure. Part of me would be scared. Part of me, because I'm not totally free, so I have a lot of clinging and attachment, so I'd be scared. And there's a lot of me that also wouldn't. There's a lot of me that knows death's an illusion. There's a lot of me that knows that life goes on forever. And so, last thing I wanted to touch on, it's a little off topic, but you notice when people die, you are sad because you miss them, but it's really kind of selfish because you're either sad because you're not going to be as financially, emotionally secure with them gone. You're going to be sad because you miss them, but you're really not lamenting that being for their own sake, because that being is gone, whether they're dead and don't know anything else or whether their soul's moved on, which of course it has. But a lot of times, just think about it, it's just a thought experiment. Think about someone you've either lost or can think of losing. And a lot of the sadness is your attachment, thinking about how you're going to feel, how it's going to be like for you to lose that being. So it's just interesting because that's our self-centeredness in a way. It's most certainly our self-centeredness. So anyways, I'll be back on this topic soon. We only got one more page, and then I'm going to do a full reading of the book. Like I said, this book I read all the time. It helps me so much. So I'd recommend getting it. Reach out to my email in the description if you have any questions, and we'll be back soon. And now here's a break with a message from our sponsors. Are you tired of paying too much to H&R Block or others to prepare your tax return? Are you finally done pulling your hairs out over TurboTax or worrying about whether you completed your Form 1040 correctly? Well, worry no longer. With Momcilovic Tax and Accounting, you're in great hands. With over 35 years of experience and over 250 clients to show for, CPA Mile Momcilovic is the accountant you can trust. Straightforward, inexpensive, professional. All it takes is 3 easy steps. Step 1, email or text us for more information. Step 2, receive an invite email to load your data. Step 3, review and sign your returns electronically in a safe and secure way. The best part about it, he can do your taxes and accounting no matter what state you're in. If you want a knowledgeable licensed expert, he is your guy, with tax returns starting at $125 for single filers and $150 for joint filers. You are guaranteed a fair price and excellent service. Stop the worrying and leave it up to the professional. Email Mile at info@momcilvicaccounting.com, text him at 773-578-0996, or go to momcilvicaccounting.com. Website link and contact information can be found in the description below. To learn more, follow Momcilovic Tax and Accounting on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Also, if you have any tax or accounting related questions, feel free to contact Mile free of charge. Start your journey of a stress-free tax season today.